Sudah kan?
Start, Tira.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we will present about the Abasiyyad, the era of Abasiyyad from educational points of view. My name is Nurul Atira binti Pardi. Introduction. The development of education has been the most important foundation for the Abbasid government since the beginning of the establishment. The city of Baghdad became the center of excellence of knowledge and the emergence of many famous scholars, namely Imam Abu Hanifa, Jabir bin Hayyan, Ibnu Haytham al-Batani, Ibnu Sina, Al-Khawarizmi, Al-Idris, and many more. Next, the development of education in the Abbasid era. The development of the Abbasid era was more rapid than the Umayyad era. This is due to the internal factors of the Abbasid era, where the political position was stronger and more stable, dominating the area of almost two-thirds of the world at the time, compared to during the Umayyad era, which was always hit by the crisis of the rebellion, especially from the cities. Furthermore, this factor provides a great opportunity for this government to focus on the dissemination of knowledge in the field of education. Next, Azima.
Assalamualaikum. I am Siti Azima. The main factor in the development of science in Abbasid era. First, education system, Baghdad strategic position, politically stability with facilities of education for integration of the caliph's translation activities. First, education system. The primary school was called as Africa. They are to study the Quran and the Surah of Rasulullah as a reading text and writing. The teacher was called a Mu'allim and Faqih. The secondary, the knowledge about tafsir, hadith, kalam, tasawwuf, usul fiqh and history. The last, the university. Among them, they are study mathematics, astronomy, geometry, and physics. Second, translation activities. Process of translation began with logic until the establishment of the word first translation by school. Munandil Ishaq was leading. Other translators such as Ishaq bin Hunayn, Hubaish, and Thabit Quran. The book of science and mathematics and astronomy from various languages are translated into Arabic. As a result, various science and figures in the field were born. 3. Effort and encouragement of the caliphs. Khalifa Harun al-Rashid was building a magnificent library, the House of Wisdom at Baghdad. Khalifa al-Ma'mun compiled every book from his conquered area, such as Syria, Africa, and Egypt, to be translated to Arabic. Khalifa al-Muqtadi supervised certain planning entities in his palace for knowledge. The Caliph began many instrument facilities for living at Baghdad. Khalifa Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, Khalifa Harun al-Rashid, Khalifa al-Ma'mun, encouragement, translation, activities. 4. Politically stability. Stable political conditions enable educational infrastructure to be provided. financial resources for the construction of mosques at that time were taken from the proceeds of Wakaf land and national or net or general national treasury. Five, the fact the factor is Baghdad's strategic position at the middle wall in East and the Strait, the center of trade activities in place of meeting, and the last good facilities of education. They are educational institutions such as mosque, surau, kitab, and palace that are used as a center for development of knowledge and education. Modern schools in Baghdad, like Medina School and Kufa School, were completed. The mosque is main place to study the Quran, Hadith, and Tafsir. The Palace of the Caliphs is full of scholar and clever people. The palace served more as a storehouse of knowledge than a center of government. Madrasa provided physical learning facilities. For example, Madrasa An-Nizamiyah is considered to be the first university level institution for higher learning. Construction of a library that serves as a place to read, make reference, research, and learn by higher form. Among the famous libraries are Baitul Hikmah, Dar al Dar al Dar al Hikmah, and Darul Ilmi. Next,
I'm Nur Umairah binti Rosli. Educational institutions in the Abbasid has four, which is mosque, the palace of Caliph, library, and school. First point is mosque. The mosque is not just a place of worship, but a center for the dissemination of knowledge, used as a place or main school to study the Quran, Hadith, and Fiqh. Apart from that, a muzakarah ceremony was also held, namely a discussion and debate. For examples, Masjid Jami Al-Mansur was built by Khalifah Abu Ja'far Al-Mansur, serves as a center for the study of Islamic science. Second point is the Palace of Caliph. The Palace of the Caliph is filled with a group of intelligent scholars, and the Caliph himself is a man of knowledge and love of science. The Palace of Caliph is the location of the scholars' delivered knowledge. The Caliph had used it as one of the educational institutions at that time. For examples, Khalifah Mu'tadid Billah provides certain angles in the palace for Islamic scholars' delivered knowledge. Third point is school. School is a new educational institution in the era of Abbasids, but an extension of the previous institutions in various forms. School, also known as high school, were built on privately owned endowed or government-owned land by caliphs, ministers, and the rich. The financial resources of the school are taken from the proceeds of the endowed lands and the national treasury. For examples, Madrasah Nizamiyah was built by Nizam al-Mulk, ministers of Seljuk descent. Fourth point is library. Library was established to help the Muslim community to seek knowledge, especially in school, such as mosque and school. Baitul Hikmah in Baghdad was built by Khalifah Harun al-Rashid. Meanwhile, Darul Hikmah in Mesir was built by Khalifah al-Hakim Biyamrillah. In Baitul Hikmah, there are many works of local scholars as well as works of translation from Persian, Greek, Chinese, and Indian. Khalifah al-Ma'mum took the initiative to bring in the treasures of Greek works taken from the island of Cyprus and Istanbul. Lastly, the activities of Baitul Hikmah in education, which is Translation Center, Library, Scientific Research Center, Training Center for Scientists, and Scholarly Meeting Center. Next, Azia.
I am Noor binti Ashura. The next slide on this topic is about field of knowledge explored in the Abasiyyad era. This is divided into two parts. The first point is about knowledge based on revelation, and second point is about knowledge based on reason. Next slide. Is knowledge based on revelation is like tafsir, knowledge about hadith, fiqh, monotheism, and qira'at. The next slide about knowledge based on reason. Knowledge based on reason is like knowledge mathematics, astronomy, chemistry, physics, geometry, and the last medicine. The next slide is about based on revelation. It's like knowledge about tafsir. Tafsir al-Quran is arranged according to the order of the surah by Yahya Ziyad al-Faraq. Next, Ibn Jarir al-Tabari, continuing the reforms in his book of Tafsir al-Tabari. In the second point about hadith, the amount of leading hadith experts, which one is Imam al-Bukhari, computation of book Sahih al-Bukhari. Next, Imam Muslim, computation of book Sahih Muslim. Third, Abu Dawud, arrangement of Sunan Abu Dawud. The fourth, At-Tirmidhi, arrangement of Sunan At-Tirmidhi. And Nasai, arrangement of Sunan An-Nasai. And the last one, Ibn Majah, arrangement of Sunan Ibn Majah. The last point is about the word is known as Kutubu Sittah. The next slide about knowledge fiqh. Umar ulama Mu'tabar who founded the school of jurisprudence. The ulama which is Imam Abu Hanifah, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. In knowledge fiqh, it also have other famous scholars like Al-Qadi Abu Yusuf, Sahanun, Al-Mawardi, and Ibn Qudamah. The next point about knowledge monotheism. Islamic scholars worked hard to purify the akidah of the Muslim community at that time, which was influenced by the Greek philosophy that they used a reference in the method of akidah. Next, among the figures who colored the development of monotheism at that time, which is Imam Abu Hasan al-Shari and Imam Ghazali. The next slide about knowledge based on reason. It is a new mathematical. A new mathematical formula of mathematics has been developed by Muslim scholars. The Muslim scholars like Al-Musallif, which is about formula trigonometry, algebra, about formula algebra, Al-Hanasan, such as formula geometry, and logarithm about formula logarithm. In knowledge mathematical, it also introduced the number system in the Arabic alphabet, and it also introduced the number of zeros in the number system. Someone has been to India to study mathematics. It is Muhammad bin Musa al-Khwarizmi, and he also produced a work in this field entitled Hisan al-Jabri wal-Muqabalah, which means integration and equation. The next point, knowledge about astronomy. Astronomy is produced new discoveries by Islamic scholars. Measure the distance between Earth and sky. Next, moon and star movement shadow. And it also can explain the geographical system of the Earth as well as the influence of the moon and sun. Next, an angular measuring instrument known as astrolabe. Last point is astronomical figure that is Al-Batari. He found a way to measure the distance between the Earth and the Sun and make table the movement of the Moon and stars. The next,
Okay. My name is Nur Marwati binti Sirun. I want to continue presentation about knowledge based on reason. Firstly, knowledge based on chemistry. The chemical figures is Jabir bin Hayyan. Firstly, He was the first person to discovery of mineral acid such as citric acid, sulfuric acid, and hydrochloric acid. And secondly, alcohol and petroleum production theory. In addition, he was to improve the glass making process. And lastly, he has invented the technique of crystallization, oxidation, and distillation. Next. Knowledge based on physics. Knowledge based on physics, the figures is Hassan bin Haytham described the process of vision through the reversal of light on the retina while correcting the error of the views of Greek physics. And he was explained the lining of the eyes and also the process of vision, invented the theory of motion of matter, gravity, and reflection of light, restrict the speed of sound and light, and he created the glasses. And lastly, he produced more than 200 books, among them in the field of physics. Next. Knowledge based on geography. The figure's knowledge based on geography is Sharif al-Idrish. Sharif al-Idrisi, invited by King Roger at Sicily to create the latest globe-shaped world map, and he gave an accurate measure of the surface area of the earth. And lastly, an encyclopedia that has incomplete map of Europe entitled Nuzhatul Mushtaq fi Ihtiraqi Afaq has been produced by him. Next. And lastly, knowledge based on medical. Knowledge based on medical figures is Ibn Sina. Ibn Sina, he produced 116 medical books, and his famous book is Qadr Fittib. And secondly, he creating various cures of chronic diseases. And thirdly, he explained the theory of virus infection such as TB and rubella. And fourthly, he created special syringes, anesthetic, and treats for saving surgical wounds. And lastly, Ibn Sina construction of two hospitals in Baghdad by the Caliph Ja'far al-Mansur.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.